ties into what Rudy was saying earlier about the stealth cells, as well as what we were just talking about. Have we come anywhere in targeting what is causing the beta cells to be targeted and how to mask that or get rid of those targeting agents or whatever's causing them to be attacked? That's all.
Oh, that's it? That's yeah. Does anybody?
To an immunologist, that's an immunology question. That's a major area of study in autoimmune disease. And, you know, as you've just heard, there are genetic predispositions to all of these autoimmune diseases, and many of the same genes predispose to different autoimmune diseases. And yet, within a family with the same genes, one person may not get any autoimmune disease, another may get one disease, and another may get another. And a lot of that may have to do with the particular collection of genes each individual has, because they're all different and many genes are involved. But then there are other factors that we don't understand, and we wave our hands and say, what are the environmental factors we think there may well be that are increasing the incidence of type 1 diabetes and other autoimmune diseases? It's $1 million question, and we don't have an answer.
So here's another wrinkle on that, which is, I mean, you asked the right question, all right. When this PIM, or personalized immune mouse, is made, imagine that you had such a mouse and it was made from the bone marrow of a type 1 diabetic, the thymus, which is important in educating immune cells, and the beta cells of that individual. This is going to happen. I mean, this experiment will be done within the
month.
Yeah, it's close. How many of you think that mouse will have diabetes? And how many of you think, no, it'll have all of the right components to develop diabetes, but something else has to happen to it? Because as you know, and as was just mentioned, just having the genetic predisposition doesn't mean you get the disease. There's something else we think that happens, an infection, whatever it is. So it'd be interesting, how many people in here think the PIM mouse, when constituted, will itself be a diabetic mouse? And how many think, this is number 2, no, it won't, and we'll have to put it in an environment where it'll have the second hit? And that possibility might actually tell us what the trigger is. Because you know there's been a lot of effort to try to discover, is it milk, is it infections, is it cockroach, I mean, you know, all sorts of things. So how many people think the PIM mouse will be diabetic when made? This question will be answerable shortly. Raise your hand if you think the animal will have diabetes.
Can't be both? Oh.
No, it can't be both. You can only vote with one hand. One.
Smart person does.
And how many think we'll have to do something to it for it to get the disease? Very good. This is very interesting, because if you ask many of the students in the diabetes center, they would have, I think, voted for number 1. So I agree with you. I think you guys are closer to the
You think so?
But think about it. This is a very interesting question, because once we can get such a mouse, we may be able to figure out what the trigger is, which gets at your question.